Welcome to SilverC Review. This is going to be a short video to kind of inform you what my podcast is or what I'm doing with the video and everything. I can't always say everything I'm doing in future plans, so if you don't watch like all the videos, sometimes you won't know what's going on. So this will just constantly be up so you can kind of get an idea. Each podcast that I do will have a couple sections. I'll have them all the times listed down below. And I actually say this in each podcast, but just in case I'll put it in here as well. So I try to get roughly the timestamps where each section is. I just kind of watch it after I've filmed it and then kind of put them down there. So if you want to like go to a certain section or skip over a certain section, that's what they're there for. I start off each podcast with the introduction, and if you can't tell, I'm actually reading from a board or a bullet points. So I'm always kind of looking off and losing my place sometimes, but the introduction kind of I'll tell about what happened in previous podcasts, or if there's something around the podcast or something like that, or maybe I put in some movies I've seen recently and stuff like that. So that's kind of what the introduction is. The next I give a movie review, and essentially it's a movie commentary. I'm not actually like reviewing the movie. There's always spoilers, and like I announce it beforehand, but I just go through and comment on what I'm thinking as I'm watching the movie. I know a lot of movie reviews out there, they go like in depth, and they've got all this movie knowledge, and they're able to do deep dives. Oh yeah, I get interrupted by sounds and stuff like that, so you'll see me lose my attention. They do like deep dives on the movie, and it's stuff that's, if it's a movie I like, I don't mind listening to it, but for the most part, it just goes so deep that I'm just not interested, because I don't know anything about film, I don't know actors' names, nothing like that. I'm just a general average person that's watching movies, and I feel like that voice isn't out there a whole lot. Like every podcast you see about movies, it's people that know a whole lot about movies, and you get people on there like, why in the world did this movie make so much money? Because people like me watch it, so that's why I'm doing the movie commentary. The next section is the recommendation. I just pick a movie that I like, that I've got, that I own, and that I don't hear a whole lot about. And I don't really go into a lot of details on it. I give a description that I've copied offline, just the generic what's going to happen in the movie, and then I kind of give my own take a little bit. I don't do spoilers on that, and then I just say go watch it. So if I've got it in that section, I recommend watching it. After that, I do jokes and quotes. I do 2 jokes, and usually they're just puns or something stupid, but I like them. And then I do 2 quotes. And on the quotes, I try to explain it. Usually I just botch it up. If you just listen to the quote itself, it's way better than everything I say probably after the quote. But I try to justify why I like the quote and what I get from the quote and stuff like that. And the last section is Inside the Introvert. And pretty much in that section, I'm very introverted. I'm like a textbook introvert, and I just go through and talk about some of the details about introverts, things people may not know, and stories that happened to me, and how general things in life that I feel like extroverts probably don't experience really affect introverts, and just what our mindset is going into. I mean, I'm not saying I speak for all introverts, not at all. I mean, there's amazing how many different types of introverts they are and how different they are, but I'm just a certain class, and this is kind of how my introvert nature is. So that's what that section is. I plan to split this podcast into 2 at the end of the year. Sometime, it may be, you could probably consider it the 1st of next year, because it'll probably be the 1st in January. I don't know, it depends on how the weeks fall, I haven't looked, but anyways, the first part I'm going to split it to, I'm going to keep it as called SilverC Review. It'll be exclusively about movies, so it'll have maybe a little introduction, just talking about movies only, and then it'll go into the movie review and movie recommendation. That's it. I'm going to try to keep it around 10 to 12 minutes. The second section will be everything else from the podcast, so it'll be titled Inside the Intorvert, and it's just going to be, it's going to start off with an introduction that'll be more around the podcast, because I'll film them at the same time. So any details I have about the podcast is not movie related, I'll put into that one. It'll have my jokes and quotes section, and it'll have the Inside the Introvert. And I'll also go a little bit deeper. There's a newsletter that's got a lot of good information. It's called Introvert Dear, and I like to pull things out of there and talk about certain things that affect me as an introvert. So kind of help spread the word and stuff like that. So that's what that section will be, or that's what that podcast will be about. I'm not sure exactly the logistics of it. I'll probably try to start another SoundCloud for it, but I don't know about all my other social media and stuff, so I don't know. We'll work that out. I'm also going to, at that time, switch over to audio only. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do to record the audio, whether it be on a cell phone. I need to get some sort of better microphone, because right now I'm using the microphone on my camera and it is terrible. So I'll have to figure something out, some cheap way to do the microphone. But when I switch to audio only, I'll still be uploading onto YouTube, but I'll do a specialized picture. I'm a freelance photographer, so I can do like a cool picture to have as a static image, and then I'll upload the audio. And the image is going to be the same for both podcasts after I split it. But pretty much, I'll take the picture somewhere, and then I'll just walk around the area while I'm talking. So you still hear nature sounds. That way I can take a picture in an area that's really windy, but then I can go walk around in areas that's not as windy. Or if something's going on, if there's a loud bird, I can walk away from it. This being a static location has not worked out very well for podcasting. There's been a lot of times that, and something else I want to mention, through a lot of my episodes, there's some wind noise that's like terrible. You can't even listen to the podcast, so feel free to skip those episodes. I tried to re-record them when the sounds were too high. I've learned a lot about how things sound on audio. I've never done anything with audio before. I do everything pictures, so it's been a new world, new experience, but I've learned a lot from it. And it'll be way easier when I do the audio only. And like I said, I'll get some better recording equipment, some sort of better microphone or something like that, so I think it'll sound a lot better. I didn't really read this. I just kind of jumped into it, so let me make sure I haven't skipped over anything. Wind has been my biggest enemy out of all this, because I find such cool locations, but if there's a field or if there's just not enough trees or something, the wind noise just destroys my audio quality. And I can't seem to figure out where the microphone is. I can't like try to block it or anything, or I don't know which direction the wind has to be blowing to affect my audio quality. Sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going to stop talking because the wind's blowing so hard and you can't even hear it. And then other times I just keep talking, not even noticing, and you can't hear me at all. So that'll be fixed once I go to audio only. My videos are all posted on YouTube, and you can use Online Video Converter to transform into MP3 or just listen to them on there. I post all my new episodes on SoundCloud, audio only, but they only stay on there. Like, I have a limited amount of space because I haven't paid for it, and I don't have anyone listening, so I don't have any reason to pay for it. So for now, they only stay on there for like 2 or 3 months, and then they get knocked off. So I don't have a library of audio only, but like I said, they're all on YouTube. And I have a Twitter and an Instagram and a Pinterest. Pinterest is exclusively for pictures I've taken. So like I said, freelance photographer, I take a lot of cool nature pictures and stuff, so that's what I share on there. I've tried to kind of put up a daily image, but it's not really worked out all that well. But there are a lot of pictures on there, and I'll keep trying to get images up. The Instagram and Twitter, I pretty much just share anything that's mine will have SilverC review on it. Like, I'll tag that somewhere in the post. Anything that doesn't have that is not mine. So it's going to be stuff that I've found on YouTube that's funny, or that I find on podcasts, or that I find on funny websites, and I just share the images. So that's what that stuff's going to be. Things that I think are funny that I think other people could find funny. So, skipped ahead. I think that's it. So pretty much, if you have any questions, post them in the comments wherever you're hearing this, and that's going to be the end of this introduction. Take care.